Welcome everyone to Here for the Horses. Glad you're here for the horses. Today I have cool stuff planned for us. And it's cool because I thought it was cool when I was watching it. Someone sent me videos. That's what sparked this idea. One of my clients sent me videos of me working on their horse. And it's just cool, and it reminds me of how cool it is. Oh, I have a story first, though, even cooler. So, as you get older, your body starts to break down and not recover as quickly. So, my left shoulder, which I think is weird because I'm predominantly right-handed, has been giving me some problems. You all know that I work out a lot in order to keep a lot of those problems away. But I couldn't do overhead press or bench press or like shoulder, anything over my shoulders. With my left shoulder, it like didn't have the power. It did not have the strength. And so normally, if my shoulder hurts, I give it 2 days, I'm good. Well, it drug on for about 3, 4 weeks, and I was like, oh my gosh, I need to really probably go get some PT done on this. So I had a doctor's appointment coming up. So I went to the doctor. It was just a checkup. I said, I do need PT for this shoulder though. And he like did a couple fake things like, let me check this and this. And he's like, yeah, they don't know what that stuff is. So he's like, go to PT, which is what I had asked. So I went to PT and they gave me a lot of exercises, which is really all I wanted was like, how do I strengthen this? Because I can tell it's weak. Um, and it was pretty shocking to find how weak I was in certain things. Like my right arm, I could just like plow it out. And then my left arm, like I couldn't, if he went like this or something weird, I was like, "Ugh!" So it was pretty crazy. He gave me a bunch of exercises. So I went for 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks for PT. I did all the exercises. I did all the work they told me to do. And I was like, it was slowly getting better slowly. So I wasn't really happy with my progress. So then I went to my women in town at Awesome Massage, and I've talked about them before. They don't speak any English, but I don't care. Okay. And I go in there and I just pointed to here. I went like this hurts. This is not need massage here. This woman worked me over and she found the spot. Okay, because I was like, it's like here. But she like pinpointed it to the point where I could tell the tendinous junction. She was like flipping it back and forth, and I was like, that's the spot. And she was like, oh yeah, yes, here. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. She worked it for like 5 minutes. She went on and she kind of worked down my arm, right? Traced the muscles down my arm. Sound familiar at all? Okay. Yeah, it's familiar. It's real familiar. Trace the muscles down my arm. Came back to that spot and it was gone. Gone, gone, gone. 100% recovered. Walked out of that massage. I did overhead press the last time I went to the gym. And I went to one more PT just to get a couple more exercises because I do know I'm weak and it's actually my back that is weak and so it strains my front. Anyways. Um, but pretty and then it's funny because I walked out and I went, yeah, massage just fixed it. Massage just fixed it. And it reminded me again of, I kind of went, you idiot, why didn't you go there first? Like, oh my gosh, what an idiot. Um, but it felt like it was more serious than that, to be honest with you. It felt like it was kind of like a strain or a pull or a tear or something. But it wasn't. It was a muscle, probably stress point, because it was close to the junction, the tendonous junction. And she worked it over. Again, we don't speak the same language. Does this sound familiar? Okay. So I made noises that let her know that I liked it. Okay. Okay. I might as well have. I might as well have licked and chewed. She knew where it was at. Okay. And then she moved on. She didn't overwork it. And then she came back and checked her work. It was so awesome. And the whole time I was like, wow, this feels really good. And I'm going to need to tell all you about it. But it was just kind of, again, another realization of how important massage is. Do massage before you get that, I have a mystery illness, let's call the vet out. Do a massage first. Just do a massage first. Get rid of a whole bunch of stuff, right? If you guys don't have my online clinic that teaches you how to do this, get it. It's, so cheap compared to a mysterious illness, injury, vet call, all that stuff. Just do it because it's so, so powerful and it's so powerful. And it's not going to hurt unless, obviously don't massage broken bones, right? Like I teach you kind of where to, hey, if they're trying to kill you, you should probably stop, sort of deal. So anyways, it was just funny and I thought of you guys and I said, well, I'm gonna have to tell them about that because it's crazy. So yeah, I'm back at the gym hitting it hard. I actually like overdid it, just not in my shoulder, but in the rest of my body because I like felt so happy that I could do these moves again. It was crazy. So that was fun. But today we want to talk about pectorals. Pectorals. Okay. So there's a bunch of pectorals, and I have a lot of stuff that we're going to look at. So have your pen and paper if you want it. Let's see, what should I show you first? I'm going to show you my client that kind of motivated me to look into this. And then I have a longer video that I did today just specifically for this on Chester. Yes, Marge, Chester. Chester's in the house. He gets all the attention today. Um, so let's take a look at that first. Let me pull up these. Now, these aren't in order, I wouldn't say, so let me just find them first. So what I'm going to show you, we're going to kind of run this like a sermon on Sunday, okay? I'm going to give you the technical information that might not make a lot of sense, and then I'm going to help you apply it to your life, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the Latin, those Greek words that nobody knows, and then we're going to apply it to your life. And we're going to make it make sense that way because it's always better when you can apply things. Okay, so let's take a look here at this first couple videos here. I gotta move you guys over here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, so here's a photo. Let's look at this first. Now, this doesn't look too bad, does it? Okay, so I'm just picking, and I'm standing weird because I wanted her to take a photo. This doesn't look too bad, does it? But can you tell that this is more of a V shape than a straight up and down by looking at the front legs? And that this ankle is like a little bit hitting midline there? Okay. So a little bit. Okay. Nothing crazy. I don't know if I mean, my eye would have maybe run to it a little bit, but nothing wild. Okay. So, this photo is actually after this video here. So let me show you the video. Hold on. Okay. Let's watch this. Oops. Sandra wants in. Super for in. Okay. So come take, oh, this one draws in. Super for in. Okay, so come take a take. So what was happening is when I picked the leg up, the knee drew in. Now, I said super far in. I worked on more that are more than that, but it was more that it was a feeling that made me go, wow, super far in. Like it was so tight, it just drew it in immediately. Okay. So then I told her to come around and take that photo. So that photo is directly after this. I pulled the leg up a little bit further and then I asked her to take a look at it, take a photo of it. All right. So let me see the next one here. Oh, so this is the after photo. What do you think of that? Yeah, that's a difference, isn't it? Okay. There's the before photo. There's the after photo. That's significant, I would say. Okay. Oh, Karen. Okay, so let's look at one more. I think I have another video. Hold on. Yeah. So this is me working on it, and we're going to go over this today. Remember, leg range of motion assessment. Assess the leg. Okay, let's start that over and I'll turn the volume on. Yeah, this side's not as tight, but you got about 4 inches to go down. That's all going to come from about halfway at the scapula upward. So the rest of that scapula needs to drop down. There it goes. There it goes. Good boy. It's got about 2 more inches. You're okay. You're okay. Nope, stay with it. There it goes. So this is happening right here. Can you see it? Come from the elbow up the back of that scapula. See that? There it was. Okay. Okay. So that's less, hold on, I got somebody trying to come in. That's less pectoral and more tricep that was tight. Okay. But that's why the leg range of motion assessment is so important, that you assess the leg first, because you're going to find all these things. Well, not only did the leg draw inward, okay, that's pectoral, but it couldn't come all the way forward and drop down. So that's elbow up the tricep and top of the scapula. Okay, so when I'm doing a leg range of motion assessment, I always say, what's the leg say? Well, it doesn't want to go this way and it doesn't want to go that way. That's what this leg said. It doesn't, it wants to pull inward, and it also doesn't want to go forward. Okay, let's watch the next one here. I think I'm working on it a little bit more here. Oh yeah. So now I'm getting in. This is actual pectoral area here. We're going to talk about that today. Look at his face. Ain't he cute? He's a little Arab too. Arab. Look at his face. He's so cute. His name's Rocky. Oh yeah, that was a lot better. Watch this leg, how easy it goes down. Boom. Oh, it's the same video. Okay, does that make sense? So first, let's talk about, welcome everyone. I see some new names. Welcome, welcome. So let's first talk about the parts. Okay, let's talk about the different pectorals. Well, they're technically adductors. Okay, so first one here, we're gonna talk about, oh, I have multiple. They're named a couple different things, so that's why I'm looking around. Okay, cranial, deep, pectoral. That one we're not going to talk about today, but what do you know about it? You know three things about it. Cranial, remember? Cranial, caudal, cranial, deep. Okay, it's not a superficial muscle, it's a deep muscle, and it's a pectoral. Okay. So the first one we're going to talk about, descending pectoral, descending pectoral, descending. It's also called, it has three different names. It's also called anterior, front, superficial pectoral, or it's called cranial. So in the front again, toward the front. Cranial superficialis pectoral. Okay. So I kind of like the photos in my my training manual. So I'm going to show you those. But let's talk first about the origin. So let's think about where it inserts. It's going to tell you what it does. So the origin is the sternal cartilage. So the cartilage of the sternum. And the insertion point is the deltoid tuberosity and the crest of the humerus. So let me show you where those are. Okay. So the origin, that's this one here. Does everybody see that sternum? So that's the origin. That's where the base camp is. That's where it starts. Now, generally, remember I talked to you about origin is the place that doesn't necessarily move, okay? So it's like the base structure, okay? The insertion is the humerus. So see how it attaches to that leg? So obviously, out of the two of those, the leg is going to move, not the sternum, okay? But if you want to be technical, if that leg is standing on the ground, they could slightly flex the sternum over by contracting that muscle, right? But in general, that's not what happens. It is a movement across the body. Okay, so it adducts the limb. Remember how I remember those two? Adduct, adding. You're adding, bringing it together. Abduct is away, the opposite. So add, bring together, adduct, take apart. Okay. And I also like the diagram. Oh, I'm going to show you this picture too. But I like that diagram. Shows where it attaches on that bone. Okay. Okay. So this one is I mean, I'm going to call it the descending pectoral, but I'd say it's about 60% descending or 50%. I've never heard cranial, but I've heard anterior superficial before. Okay. But that's the descending one. So let me show you on this. You guys know this is my favorite book. This is my dissection book. So this is kind of a cool way to look at it too. Okay. So the descending one is up here. And see where it attaches? Origin is there, and then it comes over and attaches here. Okay. It's this one. Okay, now let me show you without skin on. So if you don't like that, look away, because this is a great photo. This one right here. This is perfect. Ah, I can't see. Okay. Look at that. It's this one here. Look at how perfect that photo is. Isn't that cool? So you all know where that is on your horse. Okay. Now, if you think about that muscle and where it's at, when that muscle contracts, it's not only going to bring that leg in, what else is it going to do? Based off where it's at. Based off where it's at. It's this muscle here. What else is it going to do? It's attached here and it inserts here. Yeah. It's going to bring that foreleg forward also. It's not your main forward muscle, but it's also going to do that. Okay. So when you know that, to, obviously, if that muscle's tight, when that leg goes forward, okay, it's going to pull the leg across. It's not going to let it go out. It's going to bring the leg across. So anytime you see a leg that should just go normally forward, but it pulls across midline, I want you to think adductor. Adductor. Okay, pectoral or adductor in the hind end. Okay. All right, next one. Are we ready? This is my favorite. Transverse pectoral. Transverse. I love this one. This is the one I get in there. Okay. And I'm going to show you the photo here. Um oh, also may be referred to, never heard it referred to as this, by the way. Caudal superficialis pectoral. Never heard of it. Never heard of it referred to as that. Okay, origin. Ventral, dorsal, ventral. Dorsal fin, top, ventral, down below, ventral. Okay, so the bottom part of the sternum, the dorsal edge of the sternum, the bottom of the sternum. And then the insertion is the fascia on the proximal or 1/3 of the foreleg. Look at these photos. These are so good. So good. There, you see that? That's a great photo. Now remember, all photos are interpretations of what it looks like, all right? But this is really close to what I feel when I'm grabbing it. Okay, this is for those of you who've been around, what do I call this muscle when I'm grabbing for it? You're gonna feel for I call it something.
Pork loin.
Pork
A pork
loin,
loin.
pork loin. That's right, Marge. It feels like a pork loin. Y'all know what a pork loin is? It's that big. It's a pork loin, about that long. Bake on 350 for 25 minutes. Okay, salt and pepper is all you need. Okay, that's what it feels like. That's exactly what it feels like. Okay. And the action is it adducts the limb. It literally, this is it. Bam, bam, because it's straight across. Bam. This is the one you can feel really well. This is the one I want you to focus on. Um, you have to go up into the armpit too. Okay. All right, that's a transverse pectoral. Transverse pectoral. Next one. We had a descending and now we have an ascending. Ascending pectoral. Also may be referred to as the caudal deep pectoral. Cranial is descending, caudal is ascending. And I do get those mixed up a lot, so never trust me. I'm reading it from a manual, so this should be correct. Um, the reason that I try to remember that this is ascending is because the origin is caudal toward the back of the sternum and the abdominal fascia. Okay, so the abdominal fascia is at the abdomen. It's at the abdomen. And then the sternum goes back to about here. So it's at the back part of the sternum and it inserts forward. Okay, it's ascending. It's ascending up the chest. And it connects to the lesser and greater tubercles of the humerus. What are tubercles? Insertion points. They're like lumpy things that muscles can grab onto and hold onto. Okay, and there's greater and lesser. So anytime you hear tubercle, it's just where muscles attached. You can see them on bones too. Like if you look at skeletons, you can they're bumpy. They're kind of like they're not smooth. They're like porous. Okay. Okay, and this is another adduction of the limb. Ascending pectoral. Okay. Oh, let me show you some photos here. Hold on. I really liked, yeah, this one's cool. Because it starts really far back, the ascending pectoral does. It starts really far back and it comes forward. Comes forward right here. Starts back there, comes forward this way. Okay, let me show you. They do a cool job in this book also of, yeah. Okay, I love this. I love this photo. So here's the ascending. It's in the hot pink. Hot pink. That's kind of cool how they do that there. Okay. And then I really like, again, the descending and the transverse. See that pork loin right there? That's the pork loin. Okay. And then these are the big honkers right there. I went to when I was in school for this, I went to this quarter horse barn. It was weird. It was weird. Um, but the lady, she had this stallion. Oh, what? Does the transverse inset on the radius? No. Transverse goes to um it goes to the humerus. Yeah. They all go to the humerus. I was at this barn and this woman had this quarter horse stallion and she thought it was super cool and she kept smacking his chest and go, look at those boobies. Look at those boobies. Okay. And she was talking about the descending pectorals. They were big, big old stallion chest. It was really cool. Okay. But it was odd. So weird. I'm like, I'm like at school. Yeah. So there's kind of the insertion and origin. Now, I want you to think about that when you're doing work on them. Okay. Oh, maybe Jennifer. Actually, it says the fascia on the proximal one-third of the forearm. I don't know if that is, let me look here, hold on. If that's attached to the actual pectoral or, no, it's the humerus. Yeah. Okay, just had to double check. Okay, so what I want to do, wouldn't he really use those to mount and hold his position? What do you mean?
I was just thinking his big boobies when he mount. Yeah. He's got to
Yeah,
flex those to
definitely.
like clamp on kind of a thing.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, he totally would. Have you
That's
seen that where they're like, "Ah!" Absolutely. Yeah, I forgot about that. That's actually a good point because if you're working on stallions in a stallion season, I always go to the hind end a lot, obviously, because there's a lot of tension there. But you might want to check out those pectorals. Oh, side note. There is something, and you might notice this. This is a really interesting fun fact. It doesn't always have to be a stallion, but sometimes when you're working on the chest of a horse, they get stalliony and they'll make noises like grunts. So if you hear that, you need to stop. Okay. I think it's something about that percussion maybe kind of triggers something and they get a little stalliony. I've had geldings do it and a couple times a mare, so I don't know. But for sure with stallions, you really have to be careful of that. So think about that. I was working on Valentino, who is just the best stallion ever, that big Frisian I have a bunch of my videos on. And he did that one time with me, and I was sitting because I was working on his legs a lot. And I was sitting kind of on a bucket in front of him, just really, he had a lot of tension in his legs, so I was working on that. And I scratched his chest and he made that noise, and I was like, oops, I'm out. So that was really interesting. Okay. What I want to do now is I want to watch a video I made for you guys with Chester. Do we have any questions before I start the video, though? Any questions? This video kind of answers a lot, so let me make sure I know where it's at first. I was like, I better download this thing before I start. So let's see. Yeah, here it is. Okay. Hey guys, how's it going? So I want to talk a little bit about pectorals, where they're at, what they do, how to know in different ways whether they're tight or, um, how that shows up. So I'm using Mr. Chester here. Now, Chester, and I'm not sure why, I do notice tight pectorals on Arabians more than a lot of horses. So I don't make a ton of breed characteristics, but I have noticed it more in Arabians. Okay. Chester has a very narrow chest, and sometimes when you're working with horses, their chest is naturally narrow, which his is, and then I don't think it's as narrow as it can get naturally. But sometimes horses' pectorals are so tight that they make the chest look more normal or more narrow than it is. So with Chester, there's a lot of issues going on. He has leg tension, okay, front and back. He has a very narrow chest. He's a very narrow horse. He's a very tall horse, okay. He's so tall actually that his legs are so long and his neck is a bit too short that when he grazes, he has a really extreme stance, and it's actually this way, but he only keeps the right front forward and the left back. So when he grazes, he does this. He doesn't do this, which is what most horses do when they graze. If you watch them, they switch. They kind of slowly walk along, but he only does this. Okay. So he has high low because of it. In the summer, it's worse because he eats out more. In the winter, I can get it a little bit better. You just burped in my face, bro. In the winter, I can get it a little bit better because I have raised his food about 1.5 feet. So it's not in like a hay thing up high, but it's slightly off the ground to the point where he doesn't need to do that exaggerated stance. So he will actually stand more normal. And then when I trim him, I try to trim him a little bit more normal, and then it gets better. But then summer rolls around, he's grazing all the time, and it goes back to how it was. Anyways, so that's kind of a work in progress. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm kind of experimenting. When farriers come out, they don't try to even it out at all, which makes it worse. So I try to minimize the high a little bit, and then you can't make a heel grow, but my goal is to get them more normal whenever I can in between these months. But anyways, that's a different subject. So he does have leg trauma, which makes him tense up and get nervous. So you might see a little bit of that. But can you see how narrow his little chest is? It's a little tiny baby chest. It's a little tiny baby chest. Okay. Now you can see that going down, it's pretty straight. So when I know that there are pectoral issues, it's when they're really wide and their feet go together and they make like a V. Okay. So this is not a normal stance. That's a normal stance. Okay. So if you have a really wide horse and their chest is wide, but their feet like meet in the middle, that's probably pectoral stuff. Okay. That's not their build. I want their legs coming straight out of their chest, straight out of their chest. I don't want it going at an angle. So that's one thing that you can. Are you taking notes or what are you doing? That's one thing that you can look at. Okay. So his legs are pretty straight, which tells me he's got a pretty narrow chest. Okay. It is what it is. He also does not have a lot of action compared to his hind end in his front end. So his hind end's like, let's go for a ride. And his front end's like, let's take it easy. Okay, and I can maybe show you a video of that. His front end does not get out of the way very well, so he bangs the fronts. He also creates these kind of like odd movements where he's getting his back feet around the front. And you can see that when he moves too. He does like a little camel. I call it a camel canter, where he's like, I don't know where to put my feet right now. And then he figures it out and he's like, okay, I got it. But his feet can't really line up. His hind feet can't really line up with the fronts because they have way more action and way more movement than the fronts. So that's another issue. You're packed full of them, aren't you? So let's just get started and see where we can go from here. Okay, I'm going to line them up a little bit straighter so that we can check them out. Thank you, sir. Oh, see, I like when he stands kind of straight like that. So this is his high foot, that's his low foot. Sometimes when that gets really bad, they're pretty staggered. So that's when I know I really need to work on it. But that's not too bad. It is what it is. Okay. So the first thing that you can do to see if your horse has tight pectorals is feel them. Okay. So I'll go over here. You can start here, start nice and easy. I'm going to show you on a horse that kind of has some, sensitivity in this area. So he's a little sensitive. Little sensitive. So just start nice and slow. Kind of go in between those armpits. Now I can already feel that they're tight. Okay. They're tight right here. Right there. Okay. So what happens is that those muscles that attach to the legs and then they attach here, they go like this, they're like that. They're just pulled tight. You can feel like a band. Okay. So that's what I'm feeling for. A lot of times they'll get a little sassy about you touching that area. Okay. If they do, go straight to a slap because they like the slaps better in this pec area. Okay. But let's just warm it up a little bit. So say hello, go in and out. See, he's handling it okay. Kind of go to the insertion points, which is going to be on the inside of this leg. I have gloves on. It's cold out here, but I don't like to work on gloves. Okay, let me check the other side here. In and out. Let's go in and out. So he's like on kind of the edge. Can you guys see that? Where he almost needs to tell me to stop. So I just back off a little bit. There, give him a break. You can also go from behind the elbow. Okay, go it. Oh, we got some flinching here. So behind the elbow forward. Oh, that's where it's really at. If they start getting a little, there's release. They start getting too wild, put your hand on that halter. Do a little bit of work and give them a break. They get really defensive in this area. So if you're working on a horse that's really defensive, or if your horse is really defensive, do it in little tiny chunks. Do it in little tiny chunks. Start up here. Tell him you're coming down. He's flinching. He's flinching. Work. Oh, it's real tight on this side. Holy schmoly. Okay. Even if that's too much, just stop and hold. Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. Stop and hold. They can generally handle that, especially don't hold light, like kind of hold with a little bit of pressure. Make sure you're breathing. You can use a distraction technique. So if they really don't like somewhere, you take your other hand and you do like some slaps somewhere. I do this a lot when I'm working with legs that they're nervous about. There, it's loosening up. And just wait for it to loosen up. Okay? So I'm reaching in there and I'm cupping their little pectoral, just like that. And I just hold it and I'm pressing up at the same time. So if you lock your elbow against your body and then press up, you can get some pretty firm action there. Okay, and then if you need to, distract them with your other hand. Okay, let's check from the front here. Oh yeah, that's way better. Stay with them. Hold. He went internal there for a second. I don't know if you guys noticed that. That's all stuff I'm going to pay attention to. When you want them to breathe, make sure you take a big breath. It helps a lot. There we go. There we go. Let me stretch him out underneath my hand. Is that okay? No. Yeah, it makes you feel funny. Okay. Now, sometimes it's just going to be one pectoral. It's just going to be one pec. Okay, it's not going to be both. On him, his right side is the side here is tighter. Okay, but his both of his are tight. It's like you didn't hear my ear. Okay, let's do this side again. See where we're at. It's definitely tighter coming in from the armpit direction. I'm just going to hold. And sometimes if it's really tight, I'll hold and I'll just stand up. You see what I'm doing? By standing up, I'm kind of cupping that pectoral and bringing it up with me. Sometimes I'll bring both hands in and he says, that's too much. And I'll lift and just stretch those pectorals. He goes, oh, maybe it's not too bad. Oh, he says, oh. Okay, so you kind of got a little bit of an opinion from him there. But listen, look, there's a release. Okay, he might need it. Okay, look at how much further he's standing apart, you guys. Look at that. Okay, so I can spend 15 to 20 minutes kind of doing this as one method to loosen the pectoral. Look at that, getting them good. To loosen those pectorals up. Okay, that's one method. So let me show you another. His herd boundness is so much better. Georgia is on the other side of that round pen. I don't know if, I think she's right here. Swish, Georgia. He's so much better. Okay, so another thing I can do, oh, actually, I don't know what I'm gonna find here, but let's try it. So here's a test. Oh, big release. Here we go. When you bring the leg forward, good job. Good job, buddy. See, look at how much wider he's walking. He's like literally like walking out. Like that's not a normal stance either, but he's walking out. So when isn't he the cutest? Why is he so cute? Gosh dang it. He just does this look thing. It's so funny. Okay, anyway, sorry. So the second thing I want to talk to you about is bringing the leg forward is another way to tell if that pectoral is tight. So if you have your arm and you go do, okay, you see how my arm goes straight forward? It doesn't go out, it doesn't go in, it doesn't go and then stop. Okay, I can swing my arm forward and backward, no problem. Okay, forward and backward, not a problem. Now, if you bring a horse's front legs forward and it goes across midline, you probably have a tight pectoral. Okay. So you should be able to bring the leg forward and back and it should be straight. Okay. If it goes, that's probably a tight pectoral. It's easy peasy, easy peasy. He's still releasing from that, you guys. So let's pick up the legs. So when you pick them up, what does the leg say? That's why I say that. What does it say? It says, I'm going to go this way. Okay, so if it says, I'm going to go across midline, then you have a tight pectoral. All right, so let's check out his legs and see what they say. I'll try to stay out of the way. Don't follow my body form because this is going to be for you. And look at how he's standing, you guys. So do you guys see how that's not a normal stance either? Because his legs are actually going out, but he's probably loosened up from me just messing around with those pectorals a little bit. So now he's like, oh man, look, my legs can go out. It would be interesting to see if I get the serrate, it's probably the serrate that's tight because he has tight shoulders too. If the serrate loosens up, because if the serrate's tight, it's going to hold those scapulas really close to the body. So if I can get the scapulas to loosen up, maybe he'll like bulldog out a little bit. I don't know. Okay. Should we just take this lead rope off? It's more annoying than anything. Okay, so let me bring his legs forward and see what, hey, I don't like it when you push against my fingertips. Okay, so let's bring the leg forward and see what it says. Are you guys straightforward with him? I'll move things just a little bit. Might be easier. Let's see if those legs come forward. Okay. Sir, I just said I don't like that. And then you just did it again. You know? Okay, that's my fault. All right, so I'm going to ask him for this leg. And I want it to be relaxed. Oh, okay. So it's not bad. That's not bad. Do you guys see how it's slightly going forward, though? Okay. I mean, sorry, inside. It's not bad. It's not bad. Let's try this other leg. I like to tell him I'm going to do this because he has anxiety with his legs. So I don't just reach down for his legs. It's funny. One of my friends, I was riding Georgia and she goes, "Oh, Georgia has something on her back leg." And she like looked at it and she started walking towards Georgia like this. And Georgia was like, "Oh, hell no, you don't." I was like, "Don't look like a cougar when you're coming at my horse and I'm sitting on her, man." And she's a trainer, so she like knows better. I was like, "Come on, what are you doing?" But it was funny because Georgia is very broke with ground stuff. And she was like, "Don't touch my legs like that. Don't look at my legs like that." So with horses, I don't like to just go in hot like that. Like tell him like, "Hey, I'm here and I'm gonna go down that leg." Thank you. Thank you, sir. Oh, what is that? Okay, so he went forward and that leg really shot across midline. There we go. Okay. So you can see that was kind of more midline than I'd like. So what I'm gonna do to loosen it up, I'm gonna ask for this leg. Thank you. I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna squeeze the pack. Beautiful. Good boy. That was really good. He actually like loosened it in my hand. You need a break. He needs a breather. You see him back up. That was funny. He's like, "I need a breather." Where are you going? Don't drag that across the net. You're okay. So this horse kicks. And so I don't just put my face down anywhere. We're working on it. It's like 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And then sometimes it's 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It is what it is. Okay. So let me do the other side. This leg. Thank you. Bring it forward. Slide in. Oh, yeah, that's fine. Squeeze. Jiggle. Yeah, Bubba. Good going, Bubba. Oh, needs encouragement, Bubba. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Jiggle, 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 jiggle. Oh, good boy. Okay, so Chester's pectoral muscle is like this big. It's a baby muscle. Georgia's pectoral muscle is this big. Other horses I work on, their pectoral muscle is this big. So reach up there, see what you find. It might be small, it might be medium, and it might be large. You got to reach up, though. You got to reach up and grab the pork loin. He has a very small pork loin. Okay, normal horses, it's about this big. It feels like a legit pork loin, and then they get a little bigger too. Are you okay? Is oh, you know what Georgia would do in this case? Rear up. Chester is so smart. He's so smart. Smart boy. Why are you so smart? You were so smart because you don't pull up, and Georgia even knows better. She does it on purpose. What a good nugget. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do that one more time on each side. If you don't have a horse that's really sensitive like he is, like I'm trying not to overload him, and you guys can see how much this is doing to him, just this tiny amount of work. So I'm taking it easy on him. If you have like a horse that doesn't have a ton of anxiety with this, then you're going to work on it a lot faster. Okay. So you guys can go to videos of me working on Georgia, and I blast through it. I'm a lot more firmer. I move faster. Okay. So you're going to work on the horse in front of you. All right. Let's do each side again. Oh, you know what? I'm going to teach you something else, actually. There's another method. There's another method. Look, he's still releasing from that last one. Okay, this one. So, guys, if the pectoral is tight this way, which way do you need to stretch it if you're going to stretch it? That way. Same with when your pectoral's tight. Reach up and grab your little pectoral, your little tiny pork chop or pork loin. Okay, so if you want to stretch it and use that method, you can do that. If your horse is way too sensitive, you can do this. Take their leg and ask them to move it to the side. So let me do that with you. Let's see what you think about that. you. So I'm gonna take the knee. I'm gonna bring it this way. Yeah, what a winner! Good boy! Good job. That was good. That was good. Now I can feel how tight that is. Good job, Bubba. I'll take it. Thank you, sir. And you can add a little jiggle if that helps. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. Always from the knee, never from the ankle. Yep. Oh, that's all tension for me. That's all tension. Oh my goodness. Oh, it got nervous. So I'm gonna push him a little bit. Don't be such a crybaby. Come on, baby, you can do it. There you go. What a winner. What a winner. Yeah. So I don't want to cater to all his emotions, but I also don't want to send him off the edge. Do you know what I mean? But he's got to get better at this. I can't cater to all these emotions that he always has, or that fear around me holding onto his legs is not going to go away. He doesn't like me on this side as much, so he pushes clothes over. All right, let's take this leg. Let's go sideways with it. Yeah, that's good. Good job, Bubba. Yeah. Look, you relax into that. Did you guys see that? Oh, jiggle, jiggle. Oh, what a good boy. He put me on the other side. You see that? I need to work on that too. Add it to the list. Add it to the list. Oh, look at his stance, you guys. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Good job, Chester. Chester pants. There's a yawn. This halter is a little bit too small for him when he tries to yawn fully. But he also has a little tiny Arab face, and I have full-size horses because I'm a full-size woman. So I don't have tack that fits him, so I kind of use what my friends and loving clients give me from their tiny horses. They give me their stuff because they're generous. I was gonna buy him his own halter the other day, and I was like, "What type of halter did you want?" He didn't answer me, so I said, "All right." Look at that! Look at that stance. That's fantastic. So I need to do this way more with him. Way more. Add it to the list. Georgia! Georgia! The sheep are over there like, what? Look at his stance, you guys. That's awesome. Hold on. Don't move, buddy. Look at that stance now. Now that's not, look, he's over stancing, right? He's not that wide, but how nice is that he's standing like that? Let me let go. Okay. That was such a great demonstration there, Bubba. So I hope you have some ideas about, I don't like that. No, I'd like a nicer eye than that. That's better. Thank you. I hope you have some ideas now on how to work with those tight pectorals. Look at Georgia just stare from a distance. Georgia, come in here and I'll check your pectorals. He's like, no, they're good. So I hope you have some ideas. There's 3 ways. Rub them. Okay. Squeeze them. This is the most effective. Oh, and when you're squeezing them, if you feel something that feels like a grape, that's a knot. You have to really get up in there though, and you have to squeeze that grape until it dies. You just have to keep squeezing it and holding until it's gone. And then you have to rub it, and then you have to check your work. If you have any questions, let me know. Talk to you guys later. Bye, Chester. What a winner. Oh, I didn't put his blanket on. No! All right, I gotta go get him, put his little rain sheet on. He'll freeze a little tiny tush off. Okay, bye, guys. Okay. Thank you, Alexandra. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that. If you have any questions, put them in the chat. Okay. So things we're going to look for. When your horse's stance is in a V shape, coming out of their chest, it's in a V shape instead of straight. Okay, you'll see this. I did a post, it was a long time ago, so good luck finding it. But I took a picture of George's chest and then I told everybody to take a picture of their chest and put it in the comments. And I looked at a lot of different chests and it was really a fun exercise. Maybe I'll do that. You know what? I'm gonna do that again. I'll do that this week. But you can see some of their legs go in like this, where their feet are down here and their chest is like that. Okay. Now you can run it. You know how Chester was like that at the end? He was almost like this at the end. So what's up here? It's the serrate. The serrate holds the scapula onto the body. Okay. So if the serrate's tight, and the pectorals are tight, then you have a squished chest. But if you release the pectorals and the serrate is still tight, then you have this style of stance. So then toward the end, he was evening out a bit, but you have to look at those serrates too. So why is the scapula pulled so tight? Um, okay, so what we'll do for your homework this week is I want you to go look at your horse's chest. Look at it from the front. Okay, from the front. Do the legs come straight? I just call it come straight out of their, chest, straight out of their body. They shouldn't come at an angle, in or out. Also, if they go out, sometimes it's the deltoid that's too tight. But not as much because that's a lot. That's a lot of pressure on the deltoid. Okay, so look at the chest. And then I want you to, the first method was to feel it. Okay, feel it. Go in soft, start from the shoulder or from the rib cage or from the chest. Don't go shooting straight in on the pectoral. Okay, don't do that. Let them know you're coming. So you're going to rub it first. Now, generally, I've found this isn't actually the best way to loosen the pectorals up, to be honest with you. Takes a lot of work. Generally, if they're tight, they don't like it. So I don't use that. I double check with that. Okay. But rub it first, see what you find, see what you feel. Can you feel that band across? Now, you can really feel the band when you pick the leg up. So you might not feel it with them standing. So when you pick the leg up, if you slide your hand in, you're holding the knee with one hand, you slide your hand in with the other, you can probably feel that band. If you can't, cool. Or the whole area is so tight, it's a problem. Okay. So, yeah, you can rub it. The second thing you're going to do is pick the leg up, and I want you to use your sumo stance. Okay. So you're going to sumo stance in front of them. Like if the horse is facing me, I have their shoulder. We're shoulder to shoulder here. This is my free hand. I'm going to ask for the leg, bring it to me. Oh, sorry, wrong way. I'm going to ask for the leg, and then I'm going to slide my inside leg into their armpit. Okay. And I want to feel for that band. Kind of like what I was doing with Chester. Reach up and then feel for it. If you feel that grape, that's a knot. Sometimes it's the size of a golf ball, and that's when you really have a restriction. You can generally tell that has a pretty restricted range of motion when it gets that big. Okay. And then the third method is to kind of stretch those pectorals out. So I'll ask them to pick the leg up and I just bring it out to the side and then I let them put it down. Okay. What's cool about that one is when they're like, don't touch me, don't mess with me, your methods suck. You can always use that one. Okay. So when it's too much, you can just pick their leg up and you can move one of their legs down and ask them to put it down. Now, normally what I do, this is a little more advanced, but what I'll do if that's the method that's going to work for me is I try to, they're here. I try to pick the leg up, move it over, get them to put it down, and then I try to get them to stand equal. Okay, you see how I did that? So they were here. I get them to stand like this. And then I'll do a wither wiggle on them and see if I can kind of get them to do this. But really mild, okay? That's a little bit more advanced. For those of you that have horses that don't have tight pectorals, you can try that out. It works pretty good. It's like the tail wiggle. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like the tail wiggle, but you're doing it, you're just trying to get them to kind of do this. Okay? It takes a little bit of time, a little bit of finesse. Go nice and slow. Try that out. Okay? So your homework's going to be those three things. I want you to try them. I also want you to put a picture of your horse's chest, square, please, square them up on my public page. I'm going to put that up. I'll probably put it up tonight. I might use the old picture because it was a good post. And then we'll talk about the pictures, okay? So I'm going to probably put comments like I did in the old post. And we'll see how that goes. Okay. Does anyone have any questions? Everything is on sale right now. Until probably, well, the clinic is going to be on sale until after the new year because we're starting Journey Through the Horse. So if you just get ready. Just get ready, Journey Through the Horse. It's coming. We're going to do it. It's going to be awesome. Okay. If you need the clinic and you do need the clinic to do Journey Through the Horse, there it is. There's the coupon code Santa25 takes 25% off. The online clinic is used for the Journey Through the Horse. It's going to be awesome. We break it down. So like the pectorals is one video. Okay. And that's your homework. And then you take a video and turn it in, and then I look at it and I do a voiceover on it or make notes. Okay. So that clinic's going to be on sale until after we start Journey Through the Horse. Okay. But any questions on the pectorals? They're pretty cool. They're pretty cool. And they get ignored too. Oh, I have a video that I didn't pull up. I should have. And I felt bad because it was this young girl. I might have talked about this already. It was this young girl and she had won. Stephanie's late. Sorry, Stephanie, we're wrapping up here. She had just won something. It was like a quarter horse. It looked like a halter bred because the horse was huge. And she was walking with her feet. You could see her feet first, and it was set to music. And then they like scanned over at the horse. And the horse was like walking like this. It was horrible. And I was like, oh my gosh, that looks awful. And the pectorals, you could see the stripes, the muscle strains. And I was like, oh man, I don't want to put somebody down. They just won something cool. But it irritated me also that horses are winning like that. That should not have been a winning horse. That horse was lame. And so I went to the comments to see if anybody else, oh, they just got destroyed. I mean, everyone was like, that horse can't move. The feet a lot of people pointed to the feet. I was like, the legs are choppy. This was bad. Yeah, you saw it, Alexandra. It was so bad. I felt so bad because this girl is celebrating, she just won something, but the horse was just a mess. So pretty awful. But that's all I have for today. Maybe I'll put that on the coaching community. Although I just I don't want her to feel bad, but that horse needed a massage so bad, and it was a mess. So, anyways, I got two people that are trying to get on now. I'm like, sorry. Pacific Standard Time, you guys. Pacific Standard Time. Okay, so there's your homework. You got a lot. Oh, and Merry Christmas. Maybe we'll extend it. Merry Christmas. Santa's coming to town. See you guys later. Have a good one.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Nancy.